I remember you calling me and telling me you got booed off stage at a show, and you're like, "Go listen." I talk a little bit about it on the podcast.
I remember.
I think you even had do you have a recording of it or something? You were cutting it. Yeah, right?
I have a recording of it, and I remember because so many people asked me about it at the time. Like we're about to do episode, as of this right now, we're about to do episode 496 of Your Mom's House. That bombing was episode 172.
Wow,
That's,
really?
Yeah, I remember it because I would talk about it everywhere. Yeah, so I bombed.
Why? What happened?
It was, well, first of all, it was 1 week to the day of recording Completely Normal.
That's nuts. You're coming off your first Netflix special.
You're feeling good about the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, and it's 1 week, so you're like, I'm doing the same show.
And is this the same material after?
I mean, it's a week later. So you might have like a new, line to say at the start. That was it. I mean, I'm doing that hour. I get up there. This guy had gone up, and that feature had a great set. And I'm up in
Where was this?
Winnipeg. At Rumors. I heard you were funny.
I heard you was funny up at Rumors.
So at Rumors, and I just it starts off like okay. You can tell that like there's people, settling in still to the show, and it's like 10 minutes in where somebody's like, when someone's at a table and they're like, yeah, we should. I mean, the guacamole dip's good. And you're like, what? So I did one of those. I'm like, what was that? And he's like, yeah. He says something. And then I say something snappy back to him. I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you, there's something about like a dog group there or something. And I was like, well, why don't you put your head in a bowl like a fucking dog would or something?
But you didn't know there was a dog group there, or you did?
No, I knew that. I knew there was something dog related. I remember it was like a dog line. And then I remember that like when I said that, and as opposed to most times you say something like that, the person you say it to might be like, hey, I remember like 6 people were like, what was that? Like all at once.
Yeah.
And I was like, you heard, like, oh, that's a lot of people reacting to that. I try to like go on, and people were like, you can't say that to him, like right away. And then it starts to build. It's like when something just spreads. So like 6 people are kind of upset, and then like 11.
This is right when you walk out?
No, it's like 10 minutes in though. Like it starts off okay, it's kind of going fine. That happens. They start to like it spreads throughout this table. And what I realize in retrospect is that most comedy shows, there's groups of 2, 4, maybe 5, 6 people go together, but it's usually a bunch of that, couples and groups, right? Friends. So this is late November. Holiday parties are big at comedy clubs during this time. So there's 2 groups there having holiday celebrations for like their work.
But they don't know each other, these 2 groups.
These 2 groups, but one is a group of 60.
Oh, shit.
And one is a group of 80.
Damn, okay.
And one of those 2 groups is also doing a fundraiser as part of the show. They're going to do like some type of giveaway and like some type of, what's it called? Like a bidding, like auction to raise. And that's the dog thing. One of those groups has that too. So as it's starting to go, like as you're like, this is starting to go south. It's like the group that wasn't related to the first guy starts to go like, what's going on? Like, and then they start to get louder.
This motherfucker told him to put his head in the dog bowl. Yelling across.
Yeah. And here's the thing, when that's in the air, you're trying to, I go,
you can't knock that down. Like,
nah. I'm like, let's put this back on the tracks and just go to material. And at the time, I'm like, that's the thing to do. And dude, like, you can't. Like, I start doing like a bit. It just feels disingenuous. You're like, people here are upset. They're starting to say shit. And then just like that, out of nowhere, so the feature act was black. And this first person goes, bring back the black guy.
The black guy.
Yeah. And then other people are like, that's a good idea. Bring him back. And they start like, bring it back. And then they're like, you fucking suck. And then they're just going, boo! Like that. Like that. And I mean a parade of boos.
And what are you doing? Are you just standing up there looking? Or
yeah, and I'm like, here's the thing. So of a group of like, let's say it's a 300-seat club, there's still like a table of 6 right here, not related to either group, who are just like
loving every second.
No, they're looking at me like I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Go ahead, tell me your jokes. So you're like, all right, and you start just looking at them and trying to do. I mean, here's the thing. You can't, like, it's so loud.
Yeah, you're not getting out of that.
No. So then at one point, I feel like it's so ridiculous. I just find a light.
How long is this going on? You're 10 minutes in. How long is this? Like 15 minutes of this shit?
I mean, I end up being on stage for about 33 minutes. And at one point I pick a light, like a light from the, in the room that's supposed to be a stage light. And I just stare at it and I start just telling jokes to the light. I'm just like, hey man, and I just run material at the light because I know like they don't care,
and they're just getting louder and louder.
Yeah, it's so loud in there. It's like they're louder than the speakers, and they're having like full conversations and like because they're like fuck this guy, And the manager of the club comes on stage at like 28 minutes and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I go,
"Up on the stage."
Yeah, he comes on stage. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." He's like, "You sure?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "All right." He leaves. I keep like again, just like I'm talking to the ceiling. It's so loud.
Yeah.
It's not like if you're listening, you're like, so you're just like acting weird. Like, no, it's so loud in there. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like I was thinking of just like pulling up recipes and reading those.
Yeah, right.
And at one point, I see the manager walk up again with a woman. And I'm like, she comes on and she's like shell shocked. She's a little older. And she's like, can I have the microphone for a second? And I'm like, okay. So I give her the mic and she's like, we came here tonight.
Trembling.
To raise money for these dogs. And this man deserves an opportunity to
fuck you, bitch.
That's exactly what happened.
Of course it is.
Yeah, they're like, shut up.
Mob mentality.
Yeah.
Bring the black guy back.
That's 100%.
I'm at the comedy club.
And she's like, can we please just give him an opportunity? And they're like, no.
Collectively 300 people.
Yeah, they're like, boo.
The fuck out of here.
Fuck him. And then I'm like, all right. And she gives me back the mic.
Here you go.
I go, thanks a lot.
I tried to help you out.
And then it just picks up again. So he comes back. The fucking manager comes back. Now it's like, yeah, about 30 some minutes in. It's a total disaster. I mean, like, has fallen apart. And he's like, I think we should bring back the black guy.
He doesn't even know his name.
And I go, okay. Sure, man.
But did you bring the black guy out? Did you like?
Yes,
announce
I got
him?
to I got to say it. I got to go, you know what? This is a terrible show. You're terrible people. and you deserve this. So I'm going to do you guys a big favor right now. I'm going to bring back the black guy. And I go, put your hands together, and I bring him back. And they go crazy.
Who wants to come out to that though? Like,
he was super nice about it. And here's the craziest part of this whole thing. I walk off stage. I have to walk through the audience.
Oh, to get to the back. Right off here, you can just stay in until they leave. Of course,
I have to walk to their office area, and when the show ends, you hear people leaving. They're like, "He's a fucking asshole!" Like they're just like yelling. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then it's Saturday night. That was the early show. There's still a second show, so. I mean, even though I felt like it wasn't justified, obviously, like the level that they're at, you're still like kind of like, Jesus, man, I just got booed off stage. And then they're like, you ready for the late show? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
People came in for the late show, had clearly heard about it, like figured something was going on, but they were just a normal audience. So the show went just fine. Yeah. But it was just like a weird thing to have to do a show after that, you know?
And a week out from your fucking Netflix special.
Yeah. And then I remember going back to my condo or apartment that night and being like fine, but then getting picked up for the airport the next day and looking out the window and being like, what the fuck was that? Like that was such a outrageous experience. You know what I mean? Like I've talked to people doing stand up like 35 years. Like I've never heard of that happen.
Yeah, I had never heard that.
Yeah.